Hi everyone, it's Laurel O'Sullivan, the women's coach and your astro advocate. And I'm here to talk to you this week about the full moon in Virgo. So, when we have a full moon, as a quick reminder, the moon is opposite the sun. This is a time of culmination, and the moon is in Virgo and the sun is in Pisces. So I want to give a little bit of a backdrop to the lead up to the full moon, but remember this is a time for setting an intention as this energy will be present certainly for the next 2 weeks and up to 3 months. It's an opportunity for us to work with this energy in the short term and really integrate it. This is how astrology is powerful because it's giving us self-understanding and self-awareness of our own personal evolution. So February, as a little bit of a reminder and a backdrop, has been some intense energy because we had on February 17th that square between Saturn and Uranus. And this again is the theme for the year. It's about the push and pull between the need for change and the desire for staying in our comfort zone or stability. Saturn doesn't like to change, and Uranus is all about mixing it up. It wants us to evolve and to grow and to be that rebel in that area of life where we're all being called to let go of the constraints that have been holding us back and finally step into who we're meant to be. But Saturn wants us to do that slowly and in the right way, and to take our time in doing it, and to make sure that we're integrating and asking ourselves, what are the lessons I'm learning? And in addition to that February 17th square being perfected between Uranus and Taurus, between Uranus and Saturn, we also had 6 planets in Aquarius. Saturn and Jupiter are still in Aquarius along with Mercury. And this energy was asking us to individuate. It was putting a lot of pressure on us to step forward into our uniqueness, into who we came here to be. And it's a lot of mental energy when we have 6 planets in Aquarius. So there's been a lot of I think, anxiousness, anxiety, a lot of questioning and restlessness because, again, of that Uranian energy that is asking us to shake things up. And so that's the backdrop that we come to this, what is quite a lovely full moon in Virgo. And so much has been up for grabs in February in terms of where we see ourselves going. Remember, we're on this journey that started again and afresh in 2020, waking us up to our lives. And we are finally getting the clarity this month on where we are ready to make those changes. And this full moon in some ways represents a culmination of that. And it's a bit of a quiet full moon in the sense that there aren't a lot of intense aspects that it's making. So it's really an opportunity for reflection. And the archetype of Virgo is the Virgin, which is not sexual, but it's about purity. It's about being careful to not descend into the actual shadow part of Virgo energy, which is being extra critical, but staying in or striving for that ideal state of perfection. So again, with this Virgo energy, it can be easy to descend into that shadow part, but there's really no challenging aspects being made to this full moon. So it's an opportunity for us to give a positive application of the best of Virgo, of this ideal state. How can I strive for improvement in this area of life where Virgo is in my chart? And I'm going to share that in just a minute. How can I strive for that purity and that ideal without being overly critical? So the sun is in Pisces. The energy in March is going to begin to shift. I can already feel it. And this full moon is a complement to that. So of all of the signs in the zodiac, Virgo is the one that is the most hungry for self-mastery, for self-perfection. And so there's an opportunity here for us to kind of kick our evolution into hyperdrive, if you will, and to begin self-mastery, a new stage of self-mastery in this area where Virgo is. So I'm going to just jump into it. For each sign, I'm going to tell you where Virgo energy is being activated with this full moon, where this striving for that ideal state. And I'm also going to remind you of where Uranus has been activating that rebel energy within you so that you can kind of integrate those two and understand how to apply that in your life as you move forward, because that is why I'm most interested in creating these videos for you, is the practical application of how you can use this to begin to understand yourself better and to begin to make positive changes in your own life. So for Aries, Virgo is activating your 6th house, the house of health and everyday schedules, in our service to others. And so there could be some habits that you've been making changes to, making adjustments to. Uranus is in your 2nd house, which is the house of our resources and our self-worth, and it's been pushing us to want to create some independence in our life. So this could show up for you in terms of, if we think about how to integrate those two, the day-to-day implications for you could be a change in your schedule for how you are going about creating those resources. There could be a breakthrough here in terms of your work, and an opportunity for creating those resources that create that independence that you've been desiring with Uranus in that 2nd house. For Taurus, you've been really feeling this Uranus energy because it's in your sign, Taurus. It's in you, and you've been feeling a lot of pressure to show up differently. There's a part of you that you are wanting to be a rebel, and you're experiencing this in terms of your outward, your reputation, your identity, your self-identity. So this full moon Virgo energy is activating your 5th house, which is a lovely house. It's a house of how we creatively self-express and our joy. So it's an opportunity to connect more with the things in your life that give you joy. If we sort of synthesize this Uranus in the 1st house, which is wanting you to really kind of be the rebel and be true to yourself, and then this 5th house energy, what really brings you joy? There's been some struggles. You've been trying to embrace that maverick side of you, and now here you have an opportunity to let go of what others think and really give yourself permission to go deeper into understanding in your own life what brings you joy, and giving yourself permission to go for it, to perhaps start some kind of a new hobby or some kind of a new venture, but more importantly, to just on a very deep level, to know that it's okay to give yourself permission to experience real joy, because this year is going to continue to be one of massive change for Taurus. Okay, so for Gemini, this full moon is activating your 4th house. And the 4th house is home and family. So this could, on the one hand, be an opportunity for creating some kind of home remedy, some change to the home, whether it's to the structures, maybe it's a decorating project, a renovation project. But you've been having Uranus activating the 12th house, which is your sort of hidden fears and old patterns. There's something that you're kind of thinking about behind the scenes, maybe even an unconscious level, that you're ready to understand or see things differently. It could be pertain to your spirituality, but it's not something that you've necessarily been sharing with others. And so this full moon is maybe providing an opportunity for you to reflect on that, and for it to manifest or show up either in your physical home environment, but the 4th house is also how we most feel at home. So there may be something in terms of your own sense of personal security or understanding of how you create security for yourself that is undergoing a change, and that'll come to culmination with this full moon energy. For Cancer, this full moon is activating your 3rd house, which is our house of daily communication, short-term travel, learning, skills, and at the same time, you've had Uranus activating your house of long-term goals and hopes and wishes and dreams and friendships. And so you've been making some changes in terms of your social interaction, and you might be finding this convergence with this full moon between those changes you've been making in your social interactions, in your networks, and how you communicate. And they could come together to have new opportunities for new conversations with new people. This could be virtual, online, it could be in your community. So you're seeing this intersection playing out between your network, your social network, and how you communicate on a daily basis. And there might be some changes being made there, or to skills that you are learning. For Leo, Virgo is in your second house, this house of money and resources. So you're making changes. You've been making, you're going to be making changes or seeing a glimpse, rather, with this full moon into the changes that you want to make, because Uranus has been activating your house of career. You're feeling restless, your public reputation. There's something about your public role that you're wanting to change, or your relationship to authority. And with this full moon activating that house of resources, there might be an opportunity here. You've been feeling stuck and bored, and there might be an opportunity into how to change your financial situation. And it may have something to do with your career. So you can begin to see how these two energies work together, because we have this ongoing energy that activated February 17th. So we're still feeling that, that impulse to make a change, Leo. And so there could be an opportunity here for like a glimpse with the full moon of something that could be a longer term change in your career. And it might come through either a plan for additional resources or an ability to understand how you can create some additional resources. For Virgo, this full moon is all about you. It's happening in your first house. This is about making fundamental change. It's like a rebranding of yourself. And this is a culmination of where you've been heading. And Uranus is activating that ninth house. The ninth house is our house of how we see the world, our worldview, our philosophy, our ethics. It's also the house of foreign travel and adventures and higher education. So there could be an opportunity here to have an adventure or a travel, because again, this full moon is all about you. It's yourself. So depending upon where you are in your life and what changes you've been wanting to make, there could be an opportunity to combine that sort of restlessness you've been feeling and activate it to make some kind of a change in your life, because the first house is you, your identity, your essence, how you show up in the world. Libra. This full moon is happening in a quiet part of the chart, the 12th house, which is our unconscious hidden fears, the things that are often our old patterns that we're not often aware of, things from the past, old traumas. And but it's also the house of rest and solitude. So with this full moon, it's a really good opportunity for you to take a break. It's a lovely chance to kind of let go. You've been experiencing probably a lot of, feeling a lot of tension and activation in your relationships, because Uranus has been activating for you the sixth house of work and conflict. And so there might be an opportunity with this full moon to let go of some of those old compulsions, those old sources of conflict within you, and to make some changes, and to have, really, Libra, you've been wanting some more rest, and to release and let go of some of those old patterns and attachment to those old patterns. Okay, so for Scorpio, this full moon is activating your 11th house of long-term goals, hopes, and wishes, and also your network and friends and community. And so you've been you're being presented here with an opportunity to mix up and change those interactions a bit, to again strive for that sort of ideal state. Who are the people that I really want to be interacting with? And Uranus has been mixing things up in your 7th house, which is the house of one-on-one relationships. So you can begin to see how you can use these energies, combine, and see where there's an opportunity for change and growth, because it's very likely that either in your significant partnership, you've been making a change. It could be a business partnership. It could be how you relate to people in the world, and that in turn is activating this this full moon energy, which is wanting you to think about who is my network and how am I reaching my long-term goals. So this is sort of a culmination energy. Uranus wants you to bring in new relationships and new ways of relating to others, and in turn this full moon gives you the opportunity to use that Uranian energy, or to rather channel it into this 11th house energy, as it pertains to your long-term goals or as it pertains to your social network. Sagittarius, this full moon is in your 10th house, your career and public reputation. So it could be that you've been working towards some kind of a change, and you're getting a glimpse with, excuse me, you're getting a glimpse with this full moon of what changes might be possible. Sagittarius, or rather Uranus, has been activating, your 6th house. I think for Libra, I said it had been activating your 6th house, but It actually had been activating your 8th house, which also has to deal with conflict and relationship, Libra. So just a correction there. But Sagittarius, this full moon is activating your 10th house. So it could be some changes you've been working towards in your career. Uranus is activating the 6th house, which is your day-to-day kind of work schedule, work environment. So you might have been experiencing more conflict at work, more conflict with your coworkers, and this full moon comes along and says, how can I reach that ideal state when it comes to my my public reputation and my career? Is there an opportunity here to channel that rebel or that maverick energy or that need for change? So you could be seeing some changes in the coming weeks as it pertains to your career and making some adjustments. And Capricorn, this full moon is activating the 9th house, the house of our worldview, how we understand our place in the world, our house of higher education, a house of foreign travel. So it's a really lovely energy. And Capricorns, this is making a grand trine for you between the 9th house, the 5th house, and the 1st house. So really, there's a huge opportunity here, Capricorns. Anything relating to children, to higher education, to joy. It's an opportunity for creating that change that you've been desiring, because your 5th house is where Uranus is. So there could be an adjustment here, something to do with your worldview and how it pertains to understanding your relationship with children or what brings you joy. So there's all kinds of possibilities here for positive change. And this is just really a lovely, lovely supportive energy for Capricorn. Okay, we're nearing the final stretch. And Aquarius rising or sun. And I should say that at the beginning of this is really most important for your sun and your rising sign. I also urge you to listen to your moon sign. The moon sign is very important too, but the moon is our emotional security, so it can be a little bit more subjective. So you need to listen to the moon and sort of filter it for what's true for you. So Aquarius rising, this is activating the, this full moon in Virgo is activating the 8th house. And at the same time, you have had Uranus activating your 4th house. So the 8th house is the house of healing, of transformation, of power struggles, psychological issues, and also resources from others. So there could be an opportunity here with this full moon to come upon some resources, for instance, that might allow you to make some changes to that 4th house, which is the home and family. It could also be operating on a more psychological level, where you're understanding your family patterns or roots, because the 4th house represents that as well, and you're able to use that sort of maverick Uranus rebel energy with this full moon energy in the 8th house, which is wanting us to strive for that ideal perfection and do some healing around those old family karmic patterns that you're ready to release. So you can see how it can play out in a couple of different ways. And then finally for Pisces, this is happening in your 7th house, the full moon, and it's a beautiful energy that's really encouraging. Pisces has Saturn in the 12th house, so it's there's a lot of activation for Pisces of some of their subconscious hidden fears, or there could be some heaviness that you're feeling. So this is an opportunity to kind of come out of seclusion a little bit more and be a little bit more social, taking trips, because Uranus is in your 3rd house, the house of short-term trips. It could be taking trips with a partner, or just in general being social, because Uranus is also how we communicate with others, how we show up in our community. So it's wanting you to bring you forward and have you to become more social in your relationships and with how you communicate with others. So those are all 12 signs. I hope that there was something here that you can apply to your life and help you to guide you, as I like to say, on the roadmap of your own evolution and growth. If you enjoyed this video, please like or share or subscribe. And if you're interested in receiving more information from me, I do have a weekly email that I send out. There's a link below. You can sign up and get a free gift as well, How to Maximize Your Confidence in 2021. That's a brand new 4-page guide that I just created for you. So thanks for showing up and being here. I really appreciate your support, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.